Joined in studio by State Representative Barbara Norton, who has announced she's going to run for the state Senate against Greg Tarver. Pretty big challenge for you ahead, I would guess, correct?
Well, I'm looking at what I've done, what I can do. I'm not looking at a challenge. I feel that the work that I've done, my record speaks for me. So I'm focused on the race in reference to my record, what it says. The accomplishments and what I can continue to do.
Let's talk about that for a second. You are an experienced legislator, state representative, and if you look at the Barbara Norton Wikipedia page, oh my goodness, there's you are on caucuses and teams and all sorts of stuff, Shreveport involved. So give us a little background on that. Tell us about your years specifically in the State House and what you learned from that and what you did.
Well, when I think about the fact of when I first became a legislator, I was pretty much kind of not knowing which way to go, where the bathroom was, what the front door,
Right.
where anything was. But after having an opportunity to cross the aisles and to interact with other legislators, to see what a legislator responsibilities are, and it is to make sure that you are there to vote for your constituents, and not only for your constituents, but for the entire state as a whole, and looking at the opportunities that I had to be involved in many different, caucuses and many different boards and meetings and so forth. It gave me an opportunity to learn those things that I needed to know in order to go to Baton Rouge and to bring the bacon back home. And I say bacon, and I think in my first year, second year, I brought over 50-some thousand back to education. Mm-hmm. And from the second to the third year, I brought in about $75,000 for the community. And it has been an ongoing effort for me to make sure that I look at what the community needs are, and being able to look at the community needs are when I think about equal pay for women, when I think about affordable health care, when I think about education for our state of Louisiana, and then I think about infrastructure, and there are many, many other things that
let me ask you about infrastructure, because in this Senate district, there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen with I-49. Where does Barbara Norton stand with regard to continuing I-49 through the inner city or loop? What is your position on that?
Well, as a matter of fact, I just had a meeting on Tuesday past with Josh, who represents the Transportation Committee on behalf of Dr. Sean Wilson, and listening at the funding and listening at how do we get from A to B. Well, right now we're stuck with not enough funding, and there is not a date or a time or a moment that we know exactly when we're going to be able to have those funds. I know that federal has to chime in, the state has to chime in, but at this particular moment, we're on a hold because we don't have the funding.
But do you support continuing to build it through that part of Allendale, et cetera?
Well, when I look at the fact that there are some dynamics in there that citizens are concerned about and what's going to happen on this end versus that end, I think it's still an opportunity for us to sit together and listen to the community, listen to the state, and see how we can have a win-win for both sides. I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight, but I know that there are some concerns about the citizens not wanting it and some citizens wanting it. So we're pretty stuck right now. So there is no, I got it, it's here, let's do it at this particular moment. So I believe there has to be more discussion about it.
Your opponent in this fall's election is sitting Senator Greg Tarver. Bluntly speaking, and I don't want you to bust on Mr. Greg too bad, just like on opening day here. But on the other hand, if you thought he was doing a bang-up job, you wouldn't be running against him. What do you think, if you don't want to tell me specifically what you think the senator's shortcomings are, what can you do better than Mr. Tarver has done?
Well, when I look at the needs of the North Louisiana, and I look at the needs of the state, it's not about what somebody is not doing in the sense of can't do, but it's about my record. It's about what I've done. It's about me continuing to do the great work that I've been doing. And I think my focus will continue to be how I can move North Louisiana to the next level, how I can continue to do the many things that I've done, and how I can work with my colleagues from across the aisle, from one end to the other end. I'm not so much, concerned on what someone has done, but I'm concerned more on what can be done and what I can do and how I can bring more to the table.
What's your greatest accomplishment as a lawmaker?
Well, there are so many. There are so many until, when I think back about the affordable health care and making sure that all people have affordable health, I think that's one of the things that I would like to, stand out about being someone who refused to give up and refused not to allow people to continue to suffer here in the state of Louisiana. So when I think about people's health, and I think about there are many countries that does not go through what we go through in order for people to have affordable health care. So I would think affordable health care is something that's really dear to my heart, something that I fought and something that I will continue to fight to make sure that the people are healthy here in the state of Louisiana.
There will be those who say Senator Tarver wields a lot of power in Baton Rouge. He serves on the Joint Committee. He's got the governor's ear. He seems to have a lot of connections based on his many, many years. Would we lose anything if we lose someone like a Senator Tarver from the Senate?
Well, I'm listening at you. Would you say that's what they say? But there are they who say that I have the greatest opportunity to continue the great work that I'm doing. And when they refuse to sit back and not let me know how important it is that I continue to go to Baton Rouge to fight for the rights of the people, to stand for those who doesn't have a voice, to stand for those who just don't know what to say, and to stand for those who are afraid to say whatever they feel. When I listen to the days on my side, someone listen to the days on their side. We both have days. So how do we balance the days? Yeah.
Former State Representative Barbara Norton, a candidate for Senate this fall in District, I apologize, District. Thank you very much, ma'am. Appreciate, nice to meet you. Thank you for taking time for us.